I had an early script of something similar to this about 7 years ago, and was not able to get anything financed on several tries, and then sort of put it aside and made another film, The Limits of Control, and then came back to it, rewrote it, started again, and it finally happened. It was written with Tilda in mind from the very beginning, and Tilda, whenever this production would fall apart or we'd lose financing or another element, and I would just be ready to give up, you know, like, okay, I'm going on to something else, this is a bad sign. And Tilda would invariably say, no, this is a good sign. This means we're not ready yet. All the pieces aren't in place yet. And she was always so optimistic and reflective in a way of Eve, the kind of spirit of Eve, that I could not give up this project. Tilda had highly recommended Yorick. I had seen his work. I talked with a lot of different directors of photography, but I felt really comfortable after meeting him several times. And I also spoke at length with Olivier Assayas, director whose work I love, who had worked with Yorick on a number of films. So, and then meeting him was just fantastic. So I knew he's sort of the closest approach to a film of anyone I've worked with besides Robbie Newman in a way. And so he has a very similar approach that Robbie has. It's the first time I worked with digital photography, and we used this camera, the Alexis, which is, well, I don't like digital for several reasons. I don't like the depth of field, it's very deep. I don't like exterior daylight and skin tones, looks very not appealing to me. And these weren't problems because we don't have any exterior daylight shots. We're shooting interiors with very low light. We were lighting these scenes with light bulbs and these little LED squares, and very, very minimal. So we didn't have that depth of field problem either. So the photography, I find it really beautiful. Lit very delicately because it's very small lamps, not a lot of big stuff. The previous script was set in Rome and Detroit. But Tangier is one of my favorite places on the planet, so I just wanted to shoot there. And also, it seemed like a place that it would draw Eve to it. And I like it because it's separated from European culture in a way. It's not a Christian culture. It's not even an alcohol culture. So it's a hashish culture. So there's a very different feeling there. And Detroit is a city I also really deeply love. I'm from the Midwest, I'm from Ohio, but Detroit was always, wow, when I was a child, it was almost mythological, Detroit, as being this Paris of the Midwest, and very different, like Cleveland always felt culturally secondary to Detroit. So, and now what's happened with Detroit is it's very tragic and sad and very unusual, maybe not so unusual, I don't know. But, so I was drawn to it visually and historically for its musical culture and industrial culture and its kind of post-industrial visual feeling there. When vampire films are really in the genre of horror films, that kind of enclosed claustrophobia is very helpful for that aspect, for being scary, feeling uneasy, vampires sleeping in a confined coffin, not being able to be touched by sunlight, becomes a very claustrophobic and maybe important element when the focus of the film is fear and a horror film, which this is not. This is a film of, in a way, openness, openness to ideas, to culture, to surroundings, to observe, to one's own consciousness. So I think maybe not so consciously on our part, but the film stylistically then reflects that rather than a claustrophobic kind of horror film. I'm always shocked by the limited range of musical styles used in cinema, especially American films, especially commercial Hollywood films. Seems like they just buy the music by the yard. You know, it seems like they use the same 5 scores over and over and over again. And when you see, wow, what kind of music is available and made all around this planet, it's very strange to me that what's in movies is often very limited. This isn't always true, because some great non-American films and American films use great music. But still, it seems like not as wide a range being used as could maybe make films stronger. So when I read a lot about filmmakers and directors, writer-directors throughout film history that I really love, and this is a weak generalization, sometimes I think, well, they're not the most highly intellectual people, like maybe writers are, or maybe other people that use other forms. I don't know if that's true or not, but I really think instinct and using your intuition is extremely important. And while filming, you are, in my case, we are gathering material that then will be made into a film in the editing room. It is not a, what's the word? It is not a formulaic procedure like, say, a Hitchcock film, which are fantastic for what they are. But they are, everything is decided in advance for this little machine to function if you're making like a Hitchcock type film. And we're making a kind of thing where the shape of the machine may not be completely visible until the end, until it's cut. So you have to use your intuition throughout while editing. You have to let the film tell you. I don't mean you have to, that sounds terrible. I don't like telling anyone else what to do, but in my case, I feel like I have to listen to the film and let it tell me what it wants.